Hi, this is the voice of Heidie Calero with another economic capsule. This time we have entitled it Puerto Rico's biggest risk. And you know what is the biggest risk? It's its population, its demographic profiles. And this is what we are going to talk about in this capsule so that you get a 30,000 above ground perspective on what is at stake with all these demographic changes which are happening worldwide, but here in Puerto Rico may take more of a perspective. The first graph that I'm depicting for you is aging population. It's the first demographic pyramid with stages, group of 5 years, steps in each of these pyramids, 1960. And at the top, we see very few people. Men are on the blue side, on the left-hand side, and women are on the right-hand side in the magenta color. So you see that's more or less the 50% almost in all those groups, age groups. But especially at the lower, the base of that pyramid, we had a lot of people, 0 to 5 years, 6 to 10, and so on. So that it was growing, and it was really a triangle. Speed up 6 decades, 2020 not only has the population in terms of its rate of growth declined, but we have now, it's almost getting to be a rectangle. Less people at the base of 0 to 5 and more people in that 40, 50, especially that 80 to 84 years of age and plus. And there is still, now you're depicting more women at the top who are aging more than men, and so that will have enormous ramifications in terms of consumption patterns, in terms of who's going to pay and what are the essential services that government will have to provide, who's going to pay for these pensioners. So, but speed up 44 more decades. 2060, the World Bank has forecasted Puerto Rico's population by age groups. And notice this is a challenge. It's no longer, not even a rectangle. It's almost a spaghetti with a lot of people, especially in the 80 to 84 bracket. More women than men, as you can see in this graph, and very few people at the base, be it at 5 years of age, 16 years of age. And you know what? That is the input for the labor force. Let's look then at some of the risks that this demographic profile presents to us in this next graphic, which shows that there are going to be more seniors dependent on workers. And the magenta, the purple line is births, the birth rate per 1,000 population. In 1960, there used to be 32.4 births per 1,000. Speed up to 2020, there are 5.6, as you heard me, 5.6 births per 1,000. A dramatic fall in birth rates, not even for replacement of those who die. And for 2060, probably, with being optimistic, it could be like 4 births per 1,000. And contrast that with the dependency ratio, which is the percent of those who are 0 or less than 15 years of age, plus those who are 65 years and older. Those are the people who will be dependent, that is as a percentage of the working age population, those who are 16 to 64 years of age. Well, notice in 1960, it used to be 90.3%. Seniors dependent on those working, and as of 2020, it would not, remember 2020 is COVID, so we continue to see a decline in that, maybe because the working age population was rising slightly, and so it was declining, but by 2060 it could be 60%. That is extraordinary. China, for 2020, the World Bank has said that it has almost 18%, that dependency ratio. And other countries around the world, and these are aging societies, aging countries, but they are working more. And so certainly Puerto Rico needs to address this pattern of more seniors dependent on working age, and if those who are in that working age decide to leave Puerto Rico and migrate because they don't like what's happening here, or they don't have the labor opportunities that they are seeking, we are going to be more in serious problems. Let's look then at this next graph, which is the low participation rate. The blue line is the labor participation rate, that is those who are working plus those who are unemployed divided by that population 16 to 64, which is the working age population. And Puerto Rico, despite all its spikes in growth, it has never really overcome more than 50, 51, 50, even 52%. And it started again declining with COVID in 2020 with 51%. So obviously we have a problem because the working age population is not participating. I mean, there's like 49% or even 48% of that population that is not in the formal labor market. They may be in the underground economy, and they may be paying sales and use tax, but they're not paying income tax and other property taxes. And then let's contrast that with the working age, the working population as a percentage of total population, which is the orange line, which we have defined as working ratio. And notice again, it's 52%. It grew in 1980 to 60%, and by 2000 it was 65.8%, slightly declining. Again, this is the impact of COVID when the economy closed. So almost 2 out of 3 people in the population were really working, and certainly what is happening in terms of participation in this labor force, it's not growing, and we need more of that population to participate in the labor market. Puerto Rico is poor. This next graph depicts 40%, even though it has declined from 45% in 2020, in 2010 to 40% in 2021. 40% of the population is below poverty level. Only 60% is above poverty level, and we are not talking about extremes in terms of very wealthy people. So it is a high poverty level. And then finally, what is the solution to all this? We need economic growth, not only to get out of this swamp of the depression that we are in since 2007, but because it will tailor in what is happening with demographics. If people do not see that their perspectives are good, why should they have more births? If they don't like what is happening in the labor market here, why should they stay in the island? So it's really strangling our future for these seniors who stay here in Puerto Rico, an aging society and poor society. And here we are depicting for you what it would entail if Puerto Rico was to grow its economy at 4.5% within the next 5 years. And real GNP growth, we would be out of this economic depression. But if we were to grow at the rate that the Puerto Rico Planning Board is forecasting, it's going to take us like 23 years to even try to return to those levels before the depression started. And if we go by the forecast of the Puerto Rico of the Promesa Board, it's I don't want to depress you, but it's going to take about 102 years. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to be around for 102 years. So this is a real challenge. We need Puerto Rico's economic growth to really take off. And for that, we need focus on which are the economic activities that will increase production, not just imports as it is with retail trade or even restaurants, services. We need real production, be it in manufacturing or in terms of this exports of services by importing tourists. But again, we need really more production. If you like our economic capsule, please, and you have not subscribed, go to the Voice of Heidie Calero and subscribe and give us a like in this economic capsule. Don't forget that this is a service of Puerto Rico Economic Pulse and that the economy is all of us. Thank you.